Today in NSET revision class, we'll be going to see about lichen planus and other papillosquamous disorders. First, we'll see about lichen planus and few MCQs, important MCQs related to it. First MCQs, most characteristic finding in lichen planus. In the biopsy, what you will see. Sweat bodies, basal cell degeneration, thinning of nail plate, and vivacious lesion. Answer for this question is basal cell degeneration. Here they are asking about the histopathological characteristic finding in the histopathology of lichen planus, which is nothing but basal cell degeneration. We'll see lichen planus altogether in the end after discussing lichen planus related MCQs. So the next question asked in this question MCQ is characteristic finding, nail finding in lichen planus. Nail pitting, pterygium, Bewes line, and hyperpigmentation of nails. So pitting, as we all know, we discussed in psoriasis, is a characteristic finding seen in case of common findings in case of nail psoriasis. In lichen planus, nail pterygium is the most characteristic finding which is seen in lichen planus. Pterygium is nothing but due to the destruction of the nail plate and nail matrix, the proximal nail fold gets attached to the proximal end of the nail plate to form a pterygium. And pterygium is the word pterygium means wing like appearance. And apart from that, Bewes line can occur in any systemic condition. It is not related to lichen planus. It can occur in very rare cases. Hyperpigmentation of nail plates, nail is not a finding seen in case of lichen planus. So pterygium is the answer. Question number 3: the given nail finding is seen in which condition? So as I told you earlier, this is the pterygium, attachment of the proximal nail fold with the nail plate leading to the destruction of the nail. Then this is anonychia. This is also anonychia, loss of nail. This is also nail dystrophy and anonychia. So this is mainly seen in case of lichen planus. In psoriasis, as we discussed in the last class, pitting is the most common finding. Apart from that, you will see oil drop sign or salmon patch, splinter hemorrhage as the most common findings in case of nail psoriasis. P. rosea will not have any nail finding usually, and parapsoriasis sometimes they may have Bewes lines as a nail finding. Both of these conditions do not have any classical nail finding. So the answer is lichen planus. So now let's discuss about lichen planus. Lichen planus is nothing but it is a lichenoid disorder. It's an umbrella term which includes all the condition which has lichenoid pattern of inflammation in the histopathology. So if you take any biopsy of any lichenoid disorder, and if you see it in the microscope, what you will see in the lesion is a band-like infiltrate in between the epidermis and the dermis, and the dermoepidermal junction you will see, and that is called as lichenoid pattern of infiltration. So you will see the similar pattern of infiltration in case of this also in lichen planus. So we are saying this as lichen planus. So in this condition, you'll see 5 P's. The characteristics of the lesion occur in a 5P format. Purple or vivacious. The lesion will be vivacious or purple in color. Usually in the starting stage, it will be erythematous. Then as the disease progresses, as the lesion evolves, it changes into purple or vivacious color, and it will be polygonal in shape and pruritic. It will be itchy and plain topped. It is not a scaly or it is not a mounted lesion. It's plain topped lesion, and the patient will have papules. Sometimes many papules can coalesce to form plaques, but usually the patient will have papules only. So these are all the characteristic 5 P's of lichen planus: purple, polygonal, pruritic, plain topped papules will be there. And in addition to this, on surface of the lesion, what you will see is a classical finding seen in case of lichen planus is Wickham striae. Wickham striae is whitish striae like linear striae-like structure, which will be seen on the top of the papules of each papules of the lichen planus. So if you see carefully, you can see the site in this lesion. In this patient, the lesion occurred over the volar surface of the wrist or forearm. This is the most common place of lichen planus where it can occur. Apart from this, ankles and other areas can also, arms and legs, other areas can also be involved. Unlike psoriasis, it occurs in the polar surface. Psoriasis occurs in the extensor surface and back and scalp. They are the most common sites for psoriasis. So if you see, this is not like a scaly lesion of a psoriasis. It's a plain topped papule. And in some papule, what you can see is a whitish structure over the lesion. This is called as Wickham's trial. So this is a classical clinical picture of lichen planus occurring in its own very own classical site. So this you should be knowing. Any picture like this showing lesions in the olar surface of the forearm, then it would be lichen planus only, and the lesion will be like this, plain top, papules, vivacious in color. And in nail finding, as I told you already, pterygium I showed you. Apart from this separation, because of the nail matrix destruction and nail plate destruction, this nail plate gets thinned and separated from the underlying nail bed, leading to this tent-like formation. So this finding in a case of lichen planus is called as pup tent sign. This you should be knowing. Then apart from that, few important points in lichen planus is it has flexural predisposition, and main association with lichen planus is some viruses, hepatitis C virus and hepatitis B virus. It has clear-cut association with this. And apart from that, patients of primary biliary cirrhosis may also have lichen planus as the association. And in the areas of trauma, cutaneous trauma, the lesions may develop displaying Koebner's phenomena. Apart from this condition, other conditions showing Koebner's phenomena is psoriasis and vitiligo. This can be remembered by the mnemonic LBP, lichen planus, vitiligo, and psoriasis. These are the three conditions, most common conditions, which shows Koebner's phenomenon. And there are some trigger factors for lichen planus, such as drugs. We'll see about those drugs in the later slides. And dental amalgam is one of the important culprit in causing oral mucosal lichen planus. So this is one of the trigger factor. And apart from that, there are many other variants, cutaneous variants of lichen planus, which includes hypertrophic variant, which in which the patient will be having very hypertrophic plaques and papules will be there, and annular variant will be is there, and mucosal variant in this lesion will be restricted only to the mucosa. Most commonly, mucosal variant occurs in oral mucosa only, and sometimes genital mucosa can also be involved, leading to scarring and destruction of the genital mucosa. And apart from that, nail can be involved. Nail usually involved along with the cutaneous lesion, but nail can also occur as a isolated nail lichen planus, and follicular hair follicle will be involved. That is called as lichen planopilaris. Lichen planus, which occurs in the sun-exposed areas due to sun exposure, is called as actinic LP, and lichen planus pigmentosus is due to some hair dye. Usage of hair dye and chemicals, it leads to pigmentation over the face and the neck area. This is called as lichen planus pigmentosus. This lichen planus pigmentosus is an important DD to other facial melanosis, such as melasma and other conditions. So this also you should be knowing. Variants you should know: hypertrophic, annular, mucosal. As I told earlier, oral mucosal is the most common, and apart from that, other variants includes nail lichen planus, follicular lichen planopilaris, and this LPP is lichen planopigmentosus and actinic LP. We'll see about few points about nail LP now. In 10% of patients, it can occur as isolated nail finding, nail lichen planus only, without any skin finding. In 30 to 40% of patients with cutaneous LP, they may have nail finding as the associated finding. This percentage you should be knowing. And apart from that, in nail LP, nail pterygium is the classical feature, and thinning of nail plate is the most common finding. So you should know what is the most common finding in case of nail LP and what is the most classical feature. Most common is thinning of nail plate, and most classical is nail pterygium. In nail psoriasis, most common finding is nail pitting, and most characteristic finding is oil drops sign or salmon patch. Apart from this, puptin sign can also be seen. And finally, if the nail matrix of all the nails are involved, it leads to uniform nail destruction of all nail plate and nail matrix. Everything will be destroyed, leading to dystrophy called as 20 nail dystrophy, or this 20 nail dystrophy is also called as tracheonychia. Okay. Then we'll see a few points about oral lichen planus. 30 to 80% of patients, the textbook mentions this, 30 to 80% of patients with cutaneous finding will have oral lesions also. So usually what we see in the normal phenomena is 30 to 40% of patients will have oral lesions along with the cutaneous lesions. So the common causative factor, trigger factor associated with oral LP is mercury in the dental amalgam seems to be associated with the causation of this lesions. And the commonest form, they have three to four different patterns. So commonest form is reticular whitish patches in a lacy pattern. This is the typical finding of the oral lichen planus. Apart from that, ulcerative lesions and erosive lesions can also have this lichen planus can also have ulcerative or erosive like lesion, and this has pre-malignant potential and can transform into malignancy, most commonly squamous cell carcinoma of the buccal mucosa. And in hair follicles, as I told you already, if it is affected, then it is called as lichen planopilaris, and it causes scarring alopecia. It leads to an appearance called as footprint in snow appearance. This is the picture of oral lichen planus. What you can see here is a whitish plaque in a lacy pattern, in a reticular format. So this is the classical reticular variant of oral mucosal lichen planus, and this whitish lacy pattern is called as Wickham's trial. Next question, 20-year-old, this is all about lichen planus. Your treatment is usually steroids, or in mild cases, you can give topical corticosteroids. In severe cases, you can upgrade to oral corticosteroids. Apart from that, phototherapy is also used in treatment of lichen planus, and acitretin is also a drug which is used in case of lichen planus. Next question is, 20-year-old male had history of hyperkeratotic thick plaques over palms and soles shown below. He also complained of pain over knee joints, and what's the history to be asked for? So something related to skin lesion associated with arthritis. Skin lesion associated with arthritis mostly characteristically occur in two conditions in dermatology. One is psoriasis, where skin lesion is associated with psoriatic arthritis. As we all know, psoriatic arthritis mainly involves small joints first, then progresses to the large joints. So large joints will be involved in case of other condition, which is nothing but Rita's arthritis or reactive arthritis. So this reactive arthritis in dermatology will also have this hyperkeratotic thick plaques as a skin lesion associated with arthritis, mainly over the large joints, especially knee joints and ankle joints and wrist joint. So other symptom associated with Rita's arthritis or reactive arthritis is patient may have history of urethral discharge or history of diarrhea. This two history you should ask in any case of reactive arthritis. And because in case of reactive arthritis, usually the etiology is due to any of these organisms. Urethral discharge due to urethritis due to chlamydia trachomatis, or diarrhea due to Shigella or Salmonella can cause reactive arthritis. In reactive arthritis, the clinical findings include triad of arthritis. As I told earlier, large joints will be involved, knee joints, ankle joint, and wrist joint. Conjunctivitis will be involved, leading to conjunctival discharge, and urethritis leading to mucopurulent urethral discharge will be the third finding. So this can be remembered with the mnemonic AUC. And it is associated with the HLA called as HLA-B27. What is the cause? It can be due to post-enteric infection due to Salmonella or Shigella, or sexually transmitted infection due to Chlamydia trachomatis. Skin finding, what you will see is hyperkeratotic thick plaques over palms and soles below. So this is called as keratoderma blerorogicum. And apart from this, The patient on the planus, the patient might have succinate balanitis as the additional clinical finding. So this is keratoderma blennergicum, hyperkeratotic plaques over the palms and soles. Next question, which of the following is not a subtype of lichen planus? Lichen scroflosorum, lichen nitidus, and lichen striatus, all of the above. Lichen scroflosorum, it will have lichenoid infiltrate in the biopsy, but lichen scroflosorum is not a type of lichen planus. It's a type of cutaneous tuberculosis. So the answer is this lichen scroflosorum. And lichen nitidus, lichen scroflosorum, it's a type of cutaneous TB. Lichen nitidus and lichen striatus is also a lichenoid disorder, and it is not included in lichen planus. Next question. Choose the correct sentence regarding the disease given in the picture below. This is the disease. So this is nothing but pityriasis rosea or P. rosea, where the patient will have scaly plaques all over the body, which will be very acute condition after some infection. So this is, let's try to find out the answer for this MCQ. This is associated with HHV8 infection. False. This is associated with HHV 6 and 7. Herald patch is seen in resolving condition. This is also a false statement. Herald patch is seen in the early stages of P. rosea. Hanging curtain sign is seen. Yes, hanging curtain sign is a sign seen in P. rosea and should be treated aggressively or else relapse will occur. This is a false statement. Usually, pityriasis rosea is a self-resolving condition, so you need not treat the patient. It will resolve on its own in the time duration of 6 to 8 weeks. We'll see a few points about P. rosea. As I told earlier, the patient will have scaly plaques all over the body, mainly involving the trunk, and back of the trunk will be involved. This will be more acute in nature, associated with HHV 6 and 7, and drugs. There are certain drugs can cause this pityriasis rosea-like eruptions, mainly includes antibiotics, omeprazole, and all the drugs. First, the patch, a single erythematous patch will occur, and that is called as Herald patch or mother patch. It will occur first, following which other lesions will occur. All the other erythematous plaques will occur. Most common site is trunk, back of the trunk is involved, and the lesion will occur in a curtain like flowing from the top of the trunk to below. So this is called as this appearance is called as hanging curtain sign. This is specific to this pityriasis rosea, and it is a self-resolving condition, and it is not associated with relapse. So this is P. rosea. Next question is a match the following question. Psoriasis. What you see in psoriasis? Phosphid sign, lichen planus, Pupton sign, seborrheic dermatitis. It is all these are scaly papillospermous disorders. So seborrheic dermatitis and seborrheic dermatitis, you see waxy grease scales. Pityriasis rubra pilaris, you will have islands of sparring. This pityriasis rubra pilaris is also a scaly condition. Patient will have orangish red discoloration of the skin. Scaly plaques will be there, which will have orange red discoloration. And islands of sparring is the characteristic finding seen in case of pityriasis rubra pilaris. And what is the condition shown below? What you can see is scaling all over the body. Scaling is there, and the patient is having mild erythema also. Here you can appreciate the erythema. So what is this? Erythema and scaling, erythroderma, involving more than 90% of the body surface area. Erythema and scaling will be there in case of erythroderma. Causes, as an individual disorder, psoriasis is the most common cause, 25%. The cause for erythroderma in 25% of cases, psoriasis. As a group of disorder, the most common cause of erythroderma is eczema. 40% of case of erythroderma will have eczema as the etiology. Apart from this, certain infection also can trigger erythema. Dermatophytosis infection, especially nowadays, when it becomes treatment resistant, it just spreads to all over the body, leading to scaling and erythema all over the body. And Norwegian scabies in immunocompromised patients can also have lead to erythema as a complication. Drugs such as dapsone, antibiotics, alpha group of drugs can also cause this erythroderma. Malignancy, especially cutaneous T-cell lymphoma or Sézary syndrome, can cause erythroderma. These are the cause. So most common cause as a single disorder, psoriasis is the most common cause. As a group of disorder, eczemas, all eczemas are included in this as the most common cause of erythroderma. Next is, what is a complication of the condition shown previously? What is the complication of this erythroderma? They're asking. Anemia, hypothermia, hypoalbuminemia, all of the above. All of the above is the answer. What are the complications an erythroderma patient may have? This cutaneous blood vessels in an erythroderma patient is permanently dilated. So patient is at the risk of hypothermia also, and the blood vessels cannot constrict or dilate depending upon the temperature. So he can have hypothermia also and hyperthermia also. He just takes up the environmental temperature. So the patient first at risk of hypothermia, then the patient may also have hyperthermia also. And due to the fluid loss through scales, patient may have hypovolemia, and due to protein loss, protein also losses through scales, leading to hypoalbuminemia. Iron loss through scales leads to anemia, and because of this barrier, loss of skin barrier, secondary bacterial infection can occur, can lead to sepsis or high output cardiac failure and death. These are all the common complications which occur in case of erythroderma, and this condition should be aggressively treated. Next question, in which condition this is seen? What is this? Some changes at the dermoepidermal junction. So what you can see here is apoptotic bodies or colloidal degeneration. These apoptotic bodies are also called as civet bodies or colloid bodies. So the civet bodies is a characteristic feature in case of lichen planus, and apart from this lichenoid infiltrate is also lichenoid changes is also seen in case of DLE. So both A and C is answer. DLE is nothing but discoid lupus erythematosus. So lichenoid changes or interface changes seen in case of both lichen planus and DLE. Pemphigus vulgaris patient will have intraepidermal split only, so it won't be seen in case of pemphigus. So the answer for this question is both A and C. We'll see the histopathology finding of lichen planus quickly. Basal cell vacuolation will be there, and in the dermoepidermal junction, what you can see here is in lichenoid infiltrates, lymphohistiocytic infiltrates at the dermoepidermal junction will be there, and these basal cell vacuolation and basal layer apoptosis leads to apoptotic bodies called as civet bodies. Civet bodies are also called as colloid bodies or hyaline bodies or cytoid bodies. So this is the cell bodies which I had shown in the picture. And in case of severe destruction, this leads to a separation at the dermoepidermal junction, leading to a formation of space called as Max-Joseph space. This is the histopathological finding, classical histopathological findings in case of lichen planus. So this is all about lichen planus and other papilloscomus disorder. We saw the important points. I hope this session is useful to all of you. Thank you.
Best training, peaceful environment, PG medical entrance exam preparation were my expectations. I got them at Speed Medical Village in Kanchipuram. Today, I am a PG topper.
Speed Medical Village, a unique eco-friendly campus dedicated for PG preparation. Speed Medical Institute, a complete solution for medical education.